As a part of today's discussion, let's talk about one of the most important topics called internal communication today. To be frank, I'm an old school person and I don't want to have a one-way session, okay? And with all limitations, I know this is the medium. This medium especially has limitations where we cannot see each other or where we cannot have a two-way communication or interactive sessions. But with all limitations, let's try to keep it as interactive as possible. Okay. Once again, I would request feel free to ask questions anytime by texting in the chat box. Your suggestions on the session and the topics are always welcome. Right. Anyway, as you all know, communication skill is everything in life, right? We cannot avoid communication or we cannot avoid communicating. In fact, we communicate all the time. Though we don't talk to anyone, we are sitting at home. If we are sitting at home, keeping all the doors closed, still we are communicating or conveying some message to some others, I'm sure. By not expressing anything, we are giving a lot of options to understand as they can. That's risky, right? So it's better we communicate flawlessly and positively too, right? I don't want to get into too much of, too much of explanation in the communication part, but as I mentioned earlier, communication is everything in life, right? Trust me, the quality of communication decides quality of our life. Yeah. In other words, the quality of our life is totally based on the quality of our communication. Now, that's a big statement, right? Yep. The quality of our communication decides quality of our life. I see a lot of question marks on all of your faces. Let me explain. In our life, everything defined by communication, right? It may be making friends or breaking up. It may be about building relationship or losing relationship, being respected or being called as nutwit. Not only that, of course, in these days, our entire career is completely depending on the way we communicate, right? Our roles and responsibilities are assigned based on our communication abilities. We get promotion, we get respected, we get values for our words. Everything is based on the way we communicate. As you all know, now the medium of communication is English. If we start communicating in English, people start looking at us with a different set of eyes. Our words are valued more, right? So communication skills in English has become the most essential skills, or I can say must have skill. I say it is no more an additional qualification, but it is in an important life skill. As I as you all know, communication can be of two parts, and verbal and non-verbal part. So verbal communication and non-verbal communication. Verbal communication means communication through words. Yes, it's all about using the right words in the right order to frame meaningful sentences. We use set of rules called grammar to do the same, to communicate and by to convey some message to others. Now, non-verbal communication is all about you know communication through actions, postures, gestures, expressions, tone or tonality, etc. A lion's share of effectiveness come from this non-verbal communication. You can easily see here almost 93% of communication occurs through non-verbal communications. That means to communicate we need not open our mouth. People get message by looking at us. Of course, we all agree that uh, by looking at the face itself, we understand what exactly other person wants to communicate, right? So even the tone, the tonality carries. Say here, you can see the body language carries 55% of the effectiveness. Words 7% of the effectiveness. That means people understand through the words actually. Though you are a master in English, though you are a master in the vocabulary, though you are master in using the right words in the right order to communicate, you can carry. People understand only 7% through that. Of course, another big important part is 38% of the effectiveness come our voice, tone, tonality. You might not agree. I mean, it's little confusing, I know. See, when I say good morning, you know, there is something should be good in the, good. You should feel good in that particular word called good morning. If I say good morning, I can easily make out that there is nothing good in the morning at all, especially on the Sunday morning. So obviously our feelings, it is not the word carries the meaning, it is the feeling behind the word carries the meaning. So people understand through that particular feeling, right? So that's why this non-verbal communication part actually, which gets you a 93 percentage of effectiveness, and only 7% of the communication takes place through the use of words. Anyway, let me tell you why did I set this particular context? Because a majority of the internal communication, especially when we are focusing on professional, your profession, in fact, we communicate more into written communication, right? It's more of non-verbal communication, especially when you want to send some circular, when you want to send a memo, or when you want to share something through email or invite somebody through email. The mode of communication is more on the official. It is being recorded. Official communication is more on these mediums. So these are recorded, in fact. So we cannot commit errors, especially when it comes to the non-verbal, I mean, verbal communication, especially through emails or through, drafts or memos or circulars, all those things. That is why we have to be more precise in choosing the words, because when it comes to verbal communication, we have to be more accurate and precise in terms of using the right words, grammar, style, style of framing a sentence. Otherwise, there are high chances of being misunderstood, because we cannot take a support of our postures or gestures or expressions, or even they cannot see us what exactly we mean. They cannot see us and understand. They have to understand the message through the words only. So you have to compensate all the lack of non-verbal things through the right words. That is why this particular part actually being very, very good at set of rules and regulations to place the right words in the right order makes a lot of difference, right? And it,
Chandrasekhar, sorry to interrupt. Could you please turn on the presentation, or maybe play it in the presentation mode?
I did. I mean, they're not able to see the screen.
But it is small fonts, right? So it would be good if you play the presentation.
I am playing. No,
No, no, not playing. You just have to play.
From
Uh,
slideshow, sir.
slideshow,
See on a
slideshow.
slide share mode.
Yeah, slideshow.
Slideshow mode.
yeah, that's what I'm doing now.
No, no, no. You just have to
Present the screen, sir. Means
present
from
the screen.
slideshow.
Present the third
Present
button
screen.
bottom.
One second. One
You're
second.
sharing the screen, but not playing the presentation.
Uh-uh. Now, let me know.
Yeah, yeah. Now this. Yeah, perfect.
Yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
right,
Correct.
right.
Correct, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I thought I had covered everything, which I have already briefly spoke about verbal and non-verbal communications, and the importance of communication, the power of communication, and even the when it comes to verbal communication. Okay, especially there are two parts. Especially we in everyday day-to-day life. Actually, we communicate internal communication internally or externally. Internal communication and external communication generally happens in both the ways, verbal and non-verbal, both, like while speaking, or even probably we keep it in writing form also, right? So I would request, let's discuss about internal communication now, and I would like to request Miss Kasturi to take over from session from here. Kasturi, over to
Thank
you.
you. Yeah, thank you,
Yes.
Mr. Chandrasekhar.
Welcome.
Yeah. So, like Sir was saying about internal communications, what we think by internal communication is mainly interactions between colleagues or your team members and within the organization. Not much
Right.
discussion. Yes. So, not much discussion of or on any matter with anybody who is outside the organization. It's more of an internal thing. So, internal communications can be both formal as well as informal, and that is decided based on the hierarchy. Like
True.
if I'm talking to a team member or a colleague, so I won't have to maintain that formality while talking to him. But of course, yes, when I'm talking to my seniors or my team leads or anybody who is much higher in position, so or maybe in age, at that point of time we should be really really formal, and that is where exactly the choice of words, the vocabulary, the tonality of the content is mainly should be considered.
True.
So,
Very true.
yes. So, that is where here we have something for you which you can refer to. So, like I said, that it is mainly of sharing of information, and that really helps us to communicate effectively with our team members or people within the organization. And this is precisely what Sir has already summarized, that it can be verbal as well as non-verbal. And that is where we need to have real good proficiency in English. We cannot afford to make mistakes or minor mistakes as well when it comes to the written form. Because here again, you are not talking to a person, physically. So it is more of a written, and the person, the reader or the recipient, it all depends on them how they are going to interpret what is being written or what has been sent to them. And so can you move on to the next slide, please?
Yeah, sure.
So, the basic thing is why internal communication is important for us. Why it can't be that, why should we have our team members or our colleagues informed? And why should we? Because it is very essential for us to perform as a team. As you all know, like if I do something alone, the efficiency will definitely go down. And when I discuss it with my team members and work on it, the efficiency will be much, much better. Do you agree or not?
Yes, yes. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
So, so that is where interaction is very important. Interaction is important in all domains of life, but when it comes to our profession, it is all the more important. We just cannot keep things to ourselves and work however we feel like. It is for the better interest of the organization as well as for the people whom we are catering to. So, because of that, it is very important to keep everybody informed on the work. And also, discussion and interaction helps us to keep an effective flow within all departments. Departments does not restrict again to only educational institutes or professional companies or anywhere, but within, I mean, among everybody. So it helps in circulation of the details among the employees, among the management, everywhere. So this is basically why internal communication is important. And if you have any inputs, if you think there are something more why internal communication is important, you can also let us know. So okay, so this is more of when and where. We all know communication is important in professional life as well as personal life. And like I already mentioned, that it is very effectively used in organization as well as academic institutes. And it is carried out within all team members, different organizations, different schools. When we even plan, for example, if we take when we even plan some event among the educational institutions, like an inter-school competition or inter-college competition, even there it is very important to have an effective communication, right or
True.
wrong?
True. Very true. Very true. Yeah.
So without I decide on something, without interaction, I decide on something, some other school decides on something, and we will land up in a mess. It cannot be carried out in a effective way. So that is where communication is very, very important. Now, coming to why we need grammar as well as vocabulary here. And even before we discuss that, it is very important to know what are the mediums that which we use for nonverbal communication. These days, mainly we discuss things, or we just send an email and think, okay, fine, we have sent a mail, and that is how the person knows. And we just write a gist. Yeah, of course there are rules to write emails, and often we don't maintain those rules. But then it is very, very important to have proper English and proper words or proper language, the use of proper English there. When it comes to our mother tongue, we can just write anything and it is easier to convey, I tell you. I feel that. But English being a global language, but still it is a foreign language for all of us. So
Yes.
when we try to write something in English, it is very, very important that we even, we know the proper usage of the words. And just simply translating what we think from our mother language to English, it does not suffice.
Very
So
true.
that is where we try. We always, one point we always need to remember is, when I only think in English, when I only comprehend in English, that is when I can write in English. So the main thing is that when we do this, it becomes effective. Otherwise, when we think in mother tongue, we cannot put forward what exactly we think and what exactly we convey. Right? Any doubts?
Yes, ma'am. Correct.
Hmm. Okay. So now, what are the advantages of verbal content? When we talk to someone, it is very important that, like Sir said, that they get to see what we are saying. They get to see our body language. They understand what we are. Even if we make mistakes there, people will understand that, okay, the intention is clear. I know what he is saying. But when we write it, it is not always possible.
True.
So what happens is, when I write something, when I say something, if my body language, even if my intention is good, there are two ways to it. Even if my intention is good, but then my body language is not very convincing, people tend to misinterpret you. But when you, it's just the vice versa. When you write, maybe your intention is not that clear, but you just write it in a very polished language, so the person doesn't get the idea, and your whatever you want to happen, that happens. So basically, in written form, it is mostly what we how we write and what language we use, what vocabulary use, that is mainly considered, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, one
Okay.
more thing is,
Yeah.
especially I would like to add a point here, especially verbal communication even comes with the disadvantages also, because it's verbal, right? It's a oral one, where, uh, you know, it we generally what happens, it is not recorded. It's we cannot consider it as a documentation. There are so many times actually where we get, this entire oral commitments or oral communication is being totally mistaken, or just a lack of documentation. We go wrong many times. For example, I have
Exactly.
told you that day, Kasturi, to come.
Yeah.
I have invited you all the call, you know
Mm-hmm.
you got it right. So this is how it happens generally, even in many majority of the offices. But if it is in the records, if I sent you a mail to be there for the one of the meetings on time, definitely I will be able to tell you clearly that it is on records. I have mailed you regarding the meeting. This is where the time meeting is. This is where the meeting is, and on this particular time, I have requested you to be present in that particular time. I mean, I can always justify that, I can always say that it is being recorded. But verbal communication or oral communication, what happens? It is never been recorded orally, right? So that's why, preferably in the, especially in the professional, place, environment, it is always better to keep our communication on records.
Yes.
official record.
And
Yeah, please continue.
yeah, for future reference, it is very, very important.
Yes, yes, yes. Right.
Okay. So, like if I want to show them both the samples, wherein we can clearly make them understand, so that how the tone and the tonality differs when it comes to target, when it comes to addressing it to your target or reader or recipient.
True. You would like to go for
Yeah, yeah,
a
yeah,
sample of
yeah.
a draft, right? Yep.
Okay, so this is a very basic sample of like here we want it is an invitation for a flag hoisting ceremony, and if you see here the audience are mainly the audience is mainly people from outside who are not exactly your internal team members, and they are the delegates, they are the audience, maybe the parents of the students, and here it has been kept extremely formal. So if you go through this, I'm not reading it out as it might bore you, but then if you go through this, you can see that it is extremely formal, and there is a need of only their participation. So they come and join. Wherein, if we move on to the next sample, so yes. So here it is very clearly mentioned to the seniors, professional colleagues, and students. So it is very internal. Although we have, because this is an invitation, it is somewhat important to maintain a basic formality. But then here, it is still an informal tone has been maintained, which is not there in the previous one. The previous sample was extremely professional. If you want, we can just hold it for you. I mean, to read for.
You can read out also, Kasturi. That's better.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So, if you can see, this is to the internal team members, and here it has been put like it is indeed a pleasure for us, citizens of India, to celebrate the Independence Day of India every year. This is a reference of a college, so is also celebrating this special day with its members, students, and their families. Accordingly, we cordially invite you with your family for the flag hoisting ceremony on the occasion of the 71st Independence Day of India at the Pune chapter of ICSI. So basically, and the details have been given below. So because this has come, now here also one thing we should follow is the hierarchy. That this invitation has come from the chairman to the rest of the departments and the other people of the organization. So obviously, but still the formal tone has been maintained because it is a professional invitation.
True.
Right? Yes. So now, but here, had I just for a change, if I say that it is indeed pleasure for us, would that have sounded good? I mean, suitable to you? Of
No,
course
there is
not,
something,
probably.
something is
Some
missing. Yep.
change, yeah.
Hmm.
And citizens of India celebrate the Independence Day, and I miss out on small things which are very very important. That is where exactly the grammar comes into picture.
True.
And generally speaking, people these days have a tendency that, okay, fine, as long as I can make people understand what my intention is, I need not focus much on the words or grammar or anything.
I
But
call it as WhatsApp language, you know.
yes,
Right.
yes,
When we text through WhatsApp, actually with all shortcuts and this one actually we tend to miss out all these small words, you know, like a or an or the, all
yes.
those things we keep missing
It
out.
doesn't matter. And
Yeah,
because these days we are more into WhatsApp and we are not into writing much. So
true,
these things are taken very, very casually. But
true.
but what we believe, but if you need to have an effective communication, yes, that is absolutely fine when you're interacting with your very close circle, your friends or your family members, doesn't matter much. But when it comes to your professional communication or your internal communication with the team members, I tell you, even today it is of very very higher importance.
Right. Kasturi, I
Yes,
always have a, problem with using this a and an and the,
exactly.
always generally, I see that, I use in the place of the or and though, I mean, I commit a lot of mistakes. So will you
Yes.
be able to take it to that particular part? Those three
Yeah, yeah.
words, it looks very small, like a, and the, it's all about single letter, double letter, and three words, three-letter word, but it gives me a lot of problem, Kasturi.
I
Will you be
I
able to
understand.
will you be able to
Sure, sure.
explain me a bit on that?
Yeah, sure, of course, why not? So basically, a, an, and the, although they look very small, but they have a huge, I mean, they are of utmost importance in English language. Because a, an, and the are basically referred as articles in English language, and they are sometimes even called as determiners.
Mhm.
Now, why determiners? Determiners are basically something which helps us to determine an object,
Okay.
right? To understand an object. And in school we all must have, learned a bit about a, and the, and the general idea is that a and an, a is used before consonants, and an is used before vowels. But this is a very very big misconception, because to
So
tell you, I don't know how many of you know this, but even though English language has only 26 letters, it has 44 sounds. So
mhm.
now what happens is a and an, they are not used before consonants and vowels, but they are rather used before consonant sounds and vowel sounds.
You
So
mean I once sorry for cutting you off there. For
no,
example,
no.
we say in 1 hour or in half an
Hmm.
hour.
Hmm.
Uh, though it starts from a consonant actually, HOUR, hour,
Hmm.
correct?
Hmm. Hmm.
So why do we have to use and there? Why not
Yes,
a?
exactly. Why do we use and there is because we do not say hour, but we say are. And the sound is a vowel sound. And
Okay.
going by that sound, we use and before it and not a before it. This is the basic misconception that we have, wherein we do not use a and an before consonant sounds and vowel sound. Sorry, consonant letters and vowel letters, but before sounds. We
So
have to keep in mind the sounds and not the letters. So
okay, okay.
I don't know
Now
now if
one
somebody
more.
can. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
sure, sure.
one more. In that case, that uniform is a uniform, not an
Yes,
uniform, right?
not you and uniform.
Oh,
Because
this see, this
even
is one of the mistakes actually where I have been using it because it starts from you. I thought it is vowel, so we have to use it and there.
yes, I think someone is.
Deepan, do you mind switching on your hello, Deepan? Yeah, yeah. Continue, Kasturi.
Okay, okay. So the yes, absolutely true. And one more thing, the easiest way to remember is that a and an are never used before. I mean plural nouns. Like I cannot say a bottles, or I
Okay.
cannot say books, because a and an, they always refer to something singular.
That means a and n equal to one. That's what you meant to say.
A and n is equal to 1, yes.
Okay. That.
Wherein the other
Mhm.
article, the, is
Hmm.
used before both singular and plural nouns. I mean, anything. The is used before, can be used before singular things, can be used before plural nouns, or even uncountable. Like if I say the water is cold, I
Okay.
cannot count water, but still I can say the water is cold. But similarly, I cannot say a water is cold.
Mhm.
So that is the reason a and an are also referred as indefinite articles, but the is referred as only definite article. That means I'm pointing out to something very particular. And that is when I use the, but not a and an.
Shall I ask you a doubt now?
Yeah,
I have a
yeah,
question.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'll
please.
I'll just go back to the this one here. I mean the slide
Hmm.
here.
Yeah,
There is a word called India, correct?
yes.
According to your explanation, can I use
Hmm.
A? I mean, I think India is only one. That's why I can use A also. I can even use an as well because it starts from a vowel sound, and I can even use the as well because it
No.
is. Uh, then which one should I use there? I mean, why
We
there is?
there is an exception, and there is a rule which says that we really cannot use any article before names of countries. Exceptional names of countries are there, like we say
Okay.
the United States of America or the Great Britain. We say
Mhm,
that. But
mhm.
generally, for any country names or any name of a person, like I cannot call myself the Kasturi or a Kasturi.
Yeah, yeah,
So
correct.
before names of things or names of countries, we usually do not use any article. Exceptions are there, but
Ex
again, mhm. But
Sorry.
again, there are certain things like which is only one. Like when I say Taj Mahal, that is only one,
Very
and I
good.
won't
Yeah.
be able. I won't be able to see another Taj Mahal anywhere in the world. So for that, for anything specific, that is one of its kind. Like if I say the sun is shining bright, and
Mhm.
or the moon. So for these one of a kind things, we again use the, but never the indefinite articles a or an.
I can, in that sense, actually, I can use the Satish as well. He's one of the kind. Just for, just for this one, okay? Anyway,
Yeah.
just to break the tone. Yeah,
Yeah,
please
don't.
go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is more, so that is where when we write or when we document something or when we interact, we should be very, very careful with the usage of a, an, and the. Although, and they are not only used before nouns or name of things, but they can be used even before adjectives like describing words. Let's not get into more of the grammatical words, but
Mhm.
like when we describing when before words which are descriptive, like if I say
Indian,
Satish, yeah, no,
Indian.
Satish,
Yeah.
let's take Satish's example, and if I say that
Hmm.
Satish is a wonderful man,
Hmm.
so one the word wonderful explains, or
Yeah.
he is
Yeah.
an amazing person. So in that case, it explains the attributes that a person has. And in that case, again, before I'm not using it before man, but I'm using it before the word amazing, which is describing word.
Ma'am, can you please tell me where I should not use articles?
So that's what articles cannot be used before names of countries, names
Okay.
of people, and I mean, when we are giving a general remark, like when I say, like when I'm referring to a species in general, like when I say dog is a faithful animal. So dog is a faithful animal. Although I'm saying about one dog, I'm mentioning one dog, but I am mentioning the entire category of dogs by that.
Right. Right.
So that is where I cannot use. If I say a dog is a faithful animal, maybe I'm talking about some random dog who is
Specific.
faithful. Yes.
Hmm. Hmm.
Or maybe,
Right.
maybe when I say the dog is faithful, maybe I'm talking about my pet who is at home and not about the general species of dogs who are by nature faithful. Or
Mm.
horse is a noble animal, something like that. So you have to be very, very careful what you want to put forward, and based on that, the use of articles come into picture.
Great. Yep. Yeah, let
Okay.
me practice this. I think I should use Langfield more to,
Yeah.
practice this particular part, because this one thing has been giving me a lot of, problems actually. Especially using where to use the, where to use and especially with
Hmm.
all exceptions. There are so many exceptions and in the rules, so it's always confusing. Anyway, let's move on.
Chandrasekhar?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm Satish here. So good
Hi,
morning,
Satish.
everyone.
Good
Yeah,
morning.
hi.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
morning.
So in fact, share a couple of thoughts, okay,
Mm-hmm.
about the internal communication. So my name is Satish, and because of my profession, I go to several colleges and, of course, speak with the students, etc. So
True.
here, I would like to, by taking cues from the discussion by Chandrasekhar and Kasturi, I would like to give very interesting two examples. So
Hmm.
very recently, I was there in one of the Tamil Nadu University, and my session was at about 6 o'clock in the evening. Just imagine 6 o'clock in the evening. I mean, I thought students will never turn up. It's very difficult, right? It's very, very difficult. That's what we think. However, amazingly, almost 600 students were there in the auditorium, and that is one case. And Chandrasekhar,
Mm-hmm.
another case, I would like to give. Very recently, one of the Bangalore-based engineering college, I was there, and my session was at 11 o'clock. And I went there at about 10:30 and waited for about 1.5 hours, and not even single student turned out. And all of the education leadership was struggling hard to bring the students. So if we really see these two uh, uh, say incidences through the lens of internal communication, I can based on my little experience, I can clearly say that in Tamil Nadu, in that particular one university, they used the verbal communication, and of course the second is the written communication, and third is communication, internal communication from a authority basically. Okay,
Okay.
it went through the
Mhm.
email, went by sorry, sent by dean.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think Chandrasekhar, what do you think? I mean, in these two incidences, if I really see, so with respect to internal communication, a couple of things are very, very important,
True.
where the message has to reach the
Mhm.
targeted audience, and that too, it should connect to the targeted audience. Here, in case, uh, so today we have many librarians here, so education leaders are here. So if we want to target the students and convince them that hey, this is very important session for you, it can add definitely add value to you. So to convey this message, internal communication, I think we need to focus on a couple of things, Chandrasekhar.
True, very true. Especially in terms of style, the as Madam discussed already, the mode of communication, actually internal communication also. There are nowadays it's more of emails and emails and all formal way of communicating. So where we need to be very very careful in terms of choosing the right words, keeping the right words in the right order, keeping it simple, more simple is always better too,
Mhm.
and keeping it in the right way, and if it is through a right authority, and obviously people take it seriously, otherwise it will automatically go to another junk. This one we get more on not less than 100 emails a day. This is one of the emails which I personally feel, and I never open it.
Yes.
For the records, actually, there are more than 55% of the mails are not opened, never opened at all. So obviously, right from subject line to this one, I mean, the message, it
Message,
is very,
even
very,
message,
very
right?
important. Yep.
Even messaging, Chandrasekhar.
Yes, even the messaging also, especially when we use these mediums, where we directly don't invite somebody in person. We use another mediums like another all different mediums like WhatsApp groups, or social media groups, or even a website, or if you are publishing, or if you are sharing mails through emails, we need to be very very flawless and accurate and precise in terms of messaging. Yes sir,
Yes.
you are right on the point. Yeah, that is where the language comes. We are trying to extract some language inputs from every language forms or functions. That is
Mhm.
one of the language functions, right, Kasturi?
Yes.
From
And
that, actually, we're trying to extract, articles. What every
mhm.
Sunday we will discuss at least couple of language functions, and we will go to the language forms like articles or connectives, how to connect, all
Yes.
those things. Okay. Yeah.
And
Continue.
I would like to add one more thing here, that when we write something through mails or maybe messages or whatever it is, it's better not to make it too ornamental. These
Hmm.
days, people have an impression that if it sounds better, if it is like I use a lot of ornamental words, I make it sound like okay, I am a true proficient in English. That I feel it dilutes the meaning or the
True.
main idea what has to be conveyed.
Yes, yes. What is the point if somebody has to carry a dictionary to understand your message?
So the messages should be such wherein you don't need some external help to interpret what the message is and what you should understand from it. Rather, when you read it, you know what it wants to convey. So
True.
always try to keep it simple. Again, simple doesn't mean that okay, I just write something and send it. The message has to come very clear cut and so that the person understands. whoever is
True.
reading it.
True.
Yeah,
Okay.
Chandrasekhar, I have one small, question. So,
Yep.
say, let us assume that I am a young librarian and I have joined as a assistant librarian in one of the college in, say, in a town named Gadag. Okay, so that's the scenario.
Mm-hmm.
And we all know that, especially in any organization, not only in education, educational institute, so in any organization, there will be a informal authority, or it's a kind of a aura, right? Based on our
Mm-hmm.
personality, based on how we talk, how we communicate, and how we really present ourselves. So I
True.
feel, internal communication as a part of as a important part of a personality, that can help me to build that aura, or to build that informal authority. I mean, irrespective of the designation I'm talking about,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
Mhm.
Yep. Yep.
we can really see in any organization, if we speak with 10 people, we can really say, okay, I mean, this is the person who can influence the decision, or who helps the leadership to take the decision, right? So
True.
if at all
True.
I want to become that person, if at all I want to build that personality, I mean, what should I do? If we really think through the lens of communication.
Yep, yep, that's a wonderful question, Satish. As you only said, it's all about leading without a title. I mean, to lead actually you need not have a designation. You need to have that personality, persona, right? So generally, as I mentioned earlier, communication is not only through the words. Actually, we communicate. Our entire body
Mhm.
communicates, right? Even my
Mhm.
gestures, my dress, the way I walk, the way I talk, the way I do the action, the way I meet people, greet people, you know, everything is a communication. So obviously, the entire overall communication makes you a personality. People, I mean, you create an image before you actually open your mouth. You create an image. They understand you because by seeing at you, by looking at you, they understand what kind of a person you are, right? Not only that, especially a person who has a very good personality, a positive personality with an excellent communication in English will always
Mhm.
have an edge in any profession, not only for librarian science or not only for librarian professional, even for any corporate word, any professional word actually, which makes a way longer way of difference actually if somebody has an excellent communication skills. It is now these days it is not your marks define the roles or
Mhm.
responsibilities. It is the way, the ability of your communication, the ability of your communication. Based on that they give you the responsibility, they will give you the roles, right? Of course designation is different. I'm talking about roles and this one are different. To enhance that, I think constant deliberate efforts are needed,
Yes.
probably a bit at a time, not every day, not you know say speaking for 8 hours every day or learning seriously for 8 hours every day. That doesn't help. Probably in one time, one thing at a time, probably I may have to make sure that I speak about myself properly first,
Mhm.
with a
Mhm.
flawless way. Whatever this one I do have, it's one of the most difficult topics to talk about ourselves. Trust me, Satish. Because we have almost say 40 years of experience, or 40 years of information about myself. If I want to keep it in say less than 10 sentences in an interesting manner, it is really really difficult. It is not easy. But trust me, it is
Mhm.
not, it is simple. I mean, it looks very simple though, whatever this one, but it is not easy because all simple things are not easy to talk about. There is no lack of information. There is an overload of information about me. That's a problem actually. So let us start about simple things one by one. Like, let us start about talking about ourselves in an impactful, in a most impressive manner. Let us learn that how to you know talk about ourselves. Probably one another day, we can talk about how to talk about others,
Mhm.
how to talk about my profession, how to
Mhm.
introduce others, like this, day to day basis. If I am able to take something, if I am able to make up progress, if I'm able to see my own progress in ability of speaking or communicating in a flawless manner, that too in English, I personally feel that that is a time where we need to pat our own back, because we cannot wait somebody else to appreciate our success. I truly believe that that is a success. If I am not able to, if I'm able to speak English flawlessly, if I'm able to speak about myself flawlessly today in using 10 flawless sentences, that's a great achievement for me. I don't think so. It is a small achievement anymore, because till today, till 40 years of my life, if I am not able to speak English flawlessly, if I am not able to speak English confidently, but just by one day effort, actually, but just by uh, constant effort, if I'm able to pick 10 flawless sentences to talk about myself, I definitely need a treat to myself. I need to celebrate myself. I need to identify that success and celebrate my success. Once I fall in the love with that particular success, once I taste my own success, I'm sure that next day it will push me to go for another topic.
Mm-hmm.
You're
True.
getting my point, right? So, topic wise, especially functional topics like this, say talking about myself, talking about others, talking about what I did yesterday, talking about what I'm going to do tomorrow. These small things looks very simple. Of course, we are the topics where we have no problem in communicating in our mother tongue. Such topics we should be taking up, and we have to ensure that it is flawless, it is error free before mastering it, because let's
Yes.
not get used to the committing errors, because that's what happens generally. Of course, that's good to see, good to hear that everybody says committing mistake is not a crime. Everybody commits mistake, it's okay to commit mistake. These are all good, just good looking statements. Okay, trust me, nobody wants to commit mistake. Nobody wants to commit mistake in front of others, right? So that is where I
Mm-hmm.
am coming from. I ensure that you are speaking flawless statements. Okay, automatically, once you are confident about there are no errors in your language, I'm sure that you'll be more confident. You'll start speaking in lot of authority. Trust
Mm-hmm.
me, after a week of achievement, after 10 of say 6 different topics, if you're able to speak about 10 sentences every day, multiply by 6 days, after 60 sentences flawlessly, I'll tell you, your entire persona changes. The way
Yes.
you walk, there will be a lot of weight in your steps. People start observing you, people start valuing you, people start giving you a respect. Your words are valued. All of a sudden, you see that the entire word has changed.
Mm-hmm.
So the beauty is it's all about learning one topic at a day. 10 flawless sentences don't tell me that it is too hard. Okay, if it is too hard, let's learn 5 sentences a day. One fine day, I'm sure in a matter of a week, actually, if I'm able to speak 30 flawless sentences in a confident manner, I'll tell you it's a great achievement. Sunday, you keep it for celebration. Satish, I think I'm with
Yeah, yeah,
you.
of course. You conveyed, I think definitely you conveyed. So let me,
I hope I hope
conclude,
I have not.
conclude
Yeah.
No, no, conclude whatever you have spoken. So, once again coming back to the scenario, so being a young librarian or being a young professional, so what I have to do is one, I have to start learning in a sense to speak well, say 5 sentences a day, and write well. Of course, try to write and really check whether I am making the mistakes. Very importantly, I have to be confident. And third thing is, I have to wear proper dress. I think you mentioned that, even dressing sense that also really, creates a lot of aura, or it also communicates. And I should grab the opportunities wherever there is an opportunity to speak or to communicate. I should grab the opportunity, and even though I make the mistakes, I should start learning from those mistakes and improve. I think these are the 4 5 things you mentioned.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Right.
Great, thank you. So
Mm-hmm.
I think Dr. Netra madam, she raised her hand. I think she wants to ask some question.
Yeah, please. I mean,
Ma'am?
if I'm in this
Yes.
mode,
Yes.
actually full screen mode, I was like, I'm unable to see any gestures. Please help me with that, Satish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ma'am, a couple of minutes back, I
Yes.
think that
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Over to you,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. Yes, sir. I have a question. I have a query that ma'am told the articles that A
Hmm.
and the we cannot use in front of the name, but sometimes we can use the in front of the particular if you talk about the particular person. So at that time, can we use the article that is the?
No.
No. Can you can you make your query a bit specific, ma'am? Like name of a person?
Sometimes we say that yeah, you give for example that, you give the example of Satish sir. So
Mm-hmm.
can we use the Satish sir, means if
No,
we're talking
never.
about Satish sir?
No,
No.
no.
So is it like that?
No, no,
No,
no,
no,
no. We
no.
should not. Okay. We just
We,
made fun of this one just to break the monotony, actually. We
yeah, yeah.
cannot
Okay.
use, we cannot use along with any names. In fact, names of the countries, any country which started from United, then you
Mm-hmm.
can use, say, United States of America or United
Yeah,
Kingdom or United Arab Emirates, like
yeah.
that. Or any group of islands, especially
Mm.
Caribbean. Caribbean
Yes,
group of
the
islands,
Caribbean
actually.
islands.
Yeah, that time you can use the. Otherwise you cannot use articles at all, no articles for that. But same way as I told you, Indian, if you are talking about, then you can use an. I'm an and
Okay.
Indian, or any
Yeah,
article. Yeah,
exactly. So that is mainly because their Indian is not used as a, I mean, a person, but Indian is more of a descriptive word there. So that is
true.
why when I said that we use articles before descriptive words. So when I say Indian, we
Mm-hmm.
can use an Indian or the Indian, whatever.
The
So that way we can
mm-hmm.
use it. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
I think. Thank you, ma'am. I think Janki
Yes.
ma'am also has a query.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am, I have a query.
Yeah,
When we
please.
conversation, communication with others, some person, and the person that know about this particular thing, in that case, can we use the,
Sorry, I could not hear you very clearly, ma'am.
Yeah.
ma'am, when we
Yeah.
communicate with some person, other person,
Mm-hmm.
and that
Mm-hmm.
person is know about that particular thing. So in that case, can we use the
Yeah.
article?
Yeah. If it is
Yes,
specific and
like
you're
that.
talking about, if you're talking about something specific which you as well as the person you are speaking to, both of you are aware about, we can use the there. But again, it depends what is the thing that you're talking about.
Yes, yes, yes. No. Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anytime.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You can, Satish, can you see any other hands? I mean,
No, no, I think Kasturi ma'am can
yeah.
explain about the language.
Okay.
Kasturi, you
Yeah,
can continue.
I think we have to continue with conjunction, linking
Yeah,
words
a
as well.
brief,
Yeah,
brief about
brief. Yes,
conjunctions
just
and
brief.
Dr. Vijita ma'am, I think she has one question, right? Or she just completed. Dr. Vijita PK.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yeah, good morning.
Ma'am, you said that the sun, the moon,
Yes,
it's only one, and then
one.
why the stars? So many of them are there, no, ma'am.
So that is some the countable noun. Stars are countable nouns. So we can say the stars are shining bright. But thus, even if want to talk about a star, there also, if I pinpoint towards that star, I can say the star or the stars because they are definite.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
So yes, Raja sir has a question.
Yes, ma'am.
yes.
Ma'am, I so many time observed some people, some more and officers also. They are while speaking so many time using like only using it's good or bad or right or wrong. I observe so many times.
Okay, now it all depends. See, we people generally have a tendency to use fillers,
Yeah.
and when we talk, we use a lot of words. To be precise, there are words like.
Hmm.
For no reason, we use like, or or
You know
yes.
what you know.
Okay. These things come as like they are fillers, because when I lose continuity of what I want to speak, these fillers come into picture. Now, is a grammatical word. It is a thorough grammatical word, and it is not always advisable to use anywhere I run out of my continuity. So
Hmm.
that is not something which is which pertains to the English grammatical rule.
Thank you.
Ma'am, hello, ma'am.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yes,
please.
Hello.
yes, yes. Yeah.
Some people like to say right in
Yeah, these are fillers.
any
These are
they
fillers.
okay. So right is good or not?
It all it's a very
Right.
interesting it's a very interesting question, but that again depends the context what you are speaking. If it is an interactive session, or maybe it is a session wherein a teacher wants to understand the if the students have got the concepts or not, once or twice within the session, if I ask right, that is absolutely okay. But after each and every sentence, if I keep on asking right, just to reinforce that okay, whether my students have got it or
Okay.
not, that is something which is not very suitable again.
One more thing, Sunita,
That is
especially you can get away by using right actually while speaking.
Yes,
But the same time, if you keep writing, while writing, you keep, mentioning the same thing, right, everywhere, then it's going to be a problem.
yes.
True,
So certain things
actually
still can be yes, certain words or usage of certain words can still be managed in verbal communication, but they are totally inappropriate for non-verbal communication.
true.
ma'am, please suggest fillers fillers that can be usable during any session, any type of session we
We,
use.
we
So
we never advocate for fillers. I mean, we will never encourage people to use more fillers. Rather, it would be really good if you can use correct words there instead of fillers.
Yeah,
okay then.
conjunctions would definitely help.
Yes,
Linking
but
words would help. Even a
here,
pause also.
yes, and here exactly this is where the linking words and the punctuation come into picture.
Yeah, yes. I
Because
think it's better
when
you.
uh
So
so
it depends if you any language, you don't need to use any filler. If you have fluency, there's no requirement of any fillers. I think.
No, fillers are actually they are not desirable in any form of communication. Again, limited fillers is still okay, but not using fillers in each and every sentence. And usage of fillers will minimize when you know how to link the sentences or the words in your I mean, when you are speaking or when you are writing. And that is where we are going to discuss about linking words. So linking words are basically nothing but they are referred as conjunctions in English grammar, and their main job is to connect words and sentences. But again, you should know
It
there
has,
are sorry, am I audible?
Yeah, you are. I
yes.
think.
Now you are audible. Please go carry on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Sunita.
Okay, thank you. So conjunctions, again, there are mainly three types of conjunctions, which are coordinating, subordinating, and correlative conjunctions mostly. And coordinating conjunctions, now, again, when I say that don't use fillers, instead use conjunctions, we really cannot go and randomly use any conjunctions that we want. There are you have to be very careful. In fact, all of us have to be very careful which conjunction is appropriate for a particular sentence. So supposedly I have two sentences which carry the same value. So I am feeling sick, and I will not go to school today. So these both the sentence, they are kind of connected. And what happens is we generally say, I am not feeling well, full stop, I will not go to school today. I am breaking it and making into two different sentences. Rather, if I join the sentence and say, I am feeling sick, so I will not go to school today, it is the entire information is conveyed in one particular sentence.
Right.
So
Right.
that is where, hmm,
Yeah, you used so, a word called
hmm,
so to connect two different
two
sentences here,
different
correct?
sentences of the same value. They have the same importance.
Okay. Okay.
And they are not, these two sentences are not, I mean, highly dependent on each other. They can be used as separate sentences also. But when we come to the next category, that is the subordinating conjunctions, here one sentence is totally dependent on the other sentence.
Like,
Like
can you
when
give me
I
an example? Hmm?
yeah, so if I say it is raining, however, I have to go out. So what
Okay.
happens is when it is raining, usually we do not go out. But
Hmm.
when I say that I have to go out, there is kind of a compulsion. I have to go out is kind of dependent on it is raining.
Mhm.
So there I join the sentences with however.
Right. Right.
Hmm. So this is, and the other one is correlative conjunctions. Correlative conjunctions is wherein I use two conjunctions together in a sentence, like either or neither
Mhm.
nor. When I say either I present it or you present it,
Okay. Okay.
or either you come to my place or I will go to your place. So here I cannot use either single, I mean individually without or. I have to take the help of or with either. I have to take the help of nor without neither.
Right.
Without,
I would like to learn a little more about this. Where should I learn these terms actually?
so for
In language?
for this we have Langquill, we have the platform Langquill, and Langquill will provide you with all of, if I can share my screen.
Yeah, yeah, please, please.
Okay.
Shall I stop sharing now?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, you can share now.
So when I go to here in our Langquill
Uh,
platform, you can go to My Learning Center, and there we have,
Kasturi,
yes,
we are not able to see your screen.
1 minute.
Just go for share.
Yeah, yeah, I have started sharing now.
No. One second. Yeah, we can see, but not the slide.
Okay, yes,
Yeah,
here.
yeah. Mhm.
So here we have all the topics on grammar, and this is where we have conjunctions. So we learned about articles and conjunctions today, and here we have articles, we have punctuations, we have conjunctions. So when you go here, we can learn all about conjunction over here only with a lot of examples, which will make your understanding pretty easy.
Mhm. This is nice. Okay.
And and of course, when you learn something, you want to see how much you have learned. That is a general instinct that we humans have, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
based on that, when you finish complete reading it or understanding it, we have a quiz for you as well. So when you take the assessment, you will be given few questions on this particular topic only. So that is where, when you answer these, you know that okay, whether we have understood conjunctions or not. And trust me, only learning doesn't help. Only when you implement, when you put them to use, it helps.
Mm-hmm. This is nice. So do I have an access to it? I mean, as an audience, as a librarian, actually, do I have an access to it? Where do I get this?
You
Satish?
have, yeah.
Yeah, so Chandrasekhar, we have already created login IDs for all the members. So what they
Okay.
can do is they can go to Lanquil,
Mm-hmm.
lanqui.com, and
Mm-hmm.
on the right hand side, in the
Satish,
login,
can you please
yeah,
share the screen if possible
Yeah.
and explain us?
yeah, give me
Yeah,
a
please.
second. Give me a
Yeah.
second. Okay. Is it visible?
Yes, yes, it is now.
Yes.
Okay. So lanquill.com, lanquill.com is the basically the website, and this is a software as a service. In the sense, you can access with the help of your laptop. Only thing is you should have a good internet connectivity. So here, on the right hand side, I will type my email ID. So let us assume that I am a librarian and or a student from library department, library science department, and I can add my login ID here. And 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 is the common password which we have given. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So after logging in, you can go and go inside and change your password. I'll show you how to do it. So if you have forgot your password, then you can click here. So
Okay.
you can click here on forgot password. Okay. Otherwise, even after adding your email ID and password, if you couldn't access the platform, what you can do is you can shoot me a mail. I will type my uh, this mail ID. The same thing, Satish H at netanalytics.com. Okay, so in basically chat box, I will add so that you can shoot me a mail and I will send. I will just check or create login ID for you. So it's been already created, but if there are some email IDs remaining. Okay, let me. This is the platform, and here is my profile on the right hand
Satish,
side. You can see. Yeah.
Satish, I think Mr. Syed has one question there. He has
Okay.
kept it this one. Syed Hussein. Firstly, we have
Okay.
to register or simply going by email and password will work.
No, the thing is, see, we have created the login IDs for all the members who
Mm-hmm.
registered for this particular program.
Okay.
Okay. So, so it is automatically a mail also has been sent to everyone. So they can go and check their email inbox and even in the spam. They can check and directly they can come on this langpool.com and add their email ID in login and then password as 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So if they couldn't access, they can check they can click on forgot password. So if at all they have forgotten the password, otherwise they can shoot me a mail and I will create again. I mean, this is my email ID
Email
which
ID.
I'm
Yep.
post it
So
Right.
on
it
yeah.
Right. Syed,
so
I hope Syed Hussein got the answer now. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he what he has to do is he has to add his email ID. He need not to register. In the login, he has to mention his email ID and then password. Type the password 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay. So
Perfect. Yeah.
after logging in, you have to come here in your profile and you can change the password. So this is the common password which we have given 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So you have to change the you have to change the old password and add a new password here. And yeah, even you have to choose your mother tongue as well. So that will be useful in your next sessions. When you write on the platform, it will be useful. Yeah.
sir means our mail address, mail ID is our login ID only.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Uh,
if you
Means it is not possible for me to access that. So that's why.
yeah. I think Bitta Ashok, whose parts were Ashok. If you can hear me, you can just 1 to 8. You can just mention the common password initially. Later, you can change yourself. Okay. If you have any other questions, please feel free to ask Satish. He has typed his email ID there. If you have any issues in logging in, please do
send me a
mail
mail. You
Satish.
can
Yeah.
send me a mail. I will create the login ID and send it across to you. So I think Mr. Bitta Ashok asked me that whose email ID do we have to enter the email ID of your email ID you have to add on the platform.
Yeah. Satish, just take us to this one, the Langquill Academy, which Kasturi was talking about the content part, right? Just show
Yeah.
us there, where can I get into that, and especially when I want to brush up when if I want to learn more about A and the articles. So where should I
Okay.
go?
So
Or
yeah.
if I
So
want to
you
test? Yeah.
yeah you can see my screen, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, it is visible.
Okay, great. So after see being a student of library science department or being a librarian, so I have logged in on Langquill platform and I can see this. You may not see all these because I'm a super admin, so that's why I have much more many more features here. Anyway, so you can see listening, speaking, reading, writing, grammar quiz, vocabulary, and know your level. So for today's session. Okay, for today's session, I have to go to my learning center. So I have to go to my learning center and then I have to click on my library. Okay, so here you can see my personalized learning. So in fact, in the last session, I was explaining that the entire platform is adaptive in nature. So let us assume that, more than 200,000 students are there on the platform and Chandrasekhar may be having a different learning curve, different
Mhm.
learning skill abilities, and my learning abilities may be different. So what it does is, in fact, it gives you a, a plan, its own plan, or which is more suited plan for you based on your activities. In fact, okay. So anyway, so otherwise also you can start here in the foundation and intermediate and advanced topics are there. So since this is the second session, so for today's session was about conjunctions. Okay, so
Articles,
I
yeah.
have gone here
Articles,
to my library and
articles.
then language learning academy, and I am here in foundation, and then I am in conjunction. I can go to conjunctions or articles as well, articles or conjunctions. Let me click on conjunctions. Okay, so I can listen to this. In fact, I can click here and I can listen probably the voice of Kasturi ma'am, and of course I can read this, I can understand this, and then I can answer to these questions. I mean, I can take the assessments. So as a learner point of view, so what I need to do is I need to uh, read, listen, take assessments, and then start applying these grammar topics in my day-to-day communication.
This is useful. Yeah, there is a lot of content. Even audio also I can see. There are so many content, is it? Yes,
Yeah,
this is nice. I can
true.
take even test also before I get into. Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Uh,
you can take the test as well.
True, true. Let me, Kasturi, if you
Yes,
can, let us talk about questions, especially if they have any questions.
yes.
Can they
Uh,
reach us in any way? I mean, if they have any questions regarding grammar, I see that, lot of participants have some questions regarding grammar. Can we
Yeah.
keep it for a quick QA session now, as well as if they have any question, especially on the subject, grammar part.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
for everyone, if you have any questions regarding the access of the platform or login ID password, Satish is the person. I'm sure Kasturi and I have no clue about the login ID and password. Satish, you can help them out. I can see some of the questions here on that. Any, if they in terms of feedback or in terms of suggestion regarding the topic what they want, especially in terms of grammar, if they're looking for any specific topics where they're really finding it difficult, I think it's time to answer those things, right?
yeah,
Yes,
so
yes.
you can see that two queries in the chat box. One is by
Mm-hmm.
Sumit sir, Sumit Mandal sir,
Mhm.
And I think even Pradeep Kumar sir also mentioned the same thing. And I think one more by Dr. Sangeeta Singh ma'am. So showing invalid credentials. So by evening, you will see you can access Langquill platform. That's not an issue, because I will let me check once again. There may be some emails missing. So yeah. So by evening, I will create each for each and everyone. So I will take the email IDs and then create it for each and everyone. It's already been created, but some email might be missing. Yeah.
Thank you, Satish. Yes, Kasturi.
Okay, so I think when it comes to grammar, they can anytime read in the platform, and even then, if you have any query or doubt, I am at least reachable at my mail ID. Any queries that can be dropped into my mail ID, I'll definitely answer.
Yeah, what exactly we are
So,
going to learn in the next session? Can you please let the viewers?
the next session is mostly about writing how to write MOMs, that is minutes of the meeting, as well as meeting agendas. So I guess all of us are, I mean, we have to attend meetings on a regular basis, and to know how to write minutes of the meeting and agendas, that is very, very essential in all our professions. So
Right.
we'll take up the next session on that. We will take it up.
Kasturi, how good are you in Hindi?
Uh, it's
Conversant?
yeah, conversant.
Mhm. Okay. See some this one. Sunita, you would like to make a point there. Sunita Parik. Libraries need float notices subscription regarding correspondence. Definitely, we would cover that. It is one of the topics where we have already decided. Please make a note of it, Kasturi. We can cover those notices, subscription regarding correspondence, all those things. And Sunita Parekh, we need to one more thing, conduct library orientation as well. She has mentioned that is also
Okay.
nice. One of the topics actually where we can, uh, cover that particular topic, especially from the language point of view. Right? Uh,
What is that? Library orientation.
yeah, library orientations. It's there in the this one
Yeah,
chart. Okay.
yeah.
And anybody else would like to give any additional this one, please do let us know. Thank you, Syed Hussain. It really, I'm so glad that you made some time, you took some time and joined us. That too on a weekend, Sunday. Thank you for joining us on time.
Yes.
Thank you, Rajeshri. Uh, Please feel free to share this one. Of course, I will also give my email ID here so that you can copy this email ID. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me or Kasturi. Kasturi, I think it's better you give
I
email
have.
ID there itself.